Yeah, our first time in Hanover. I think we stopped over once on the way somewhere else, but it was... but yeah, it's beautiful. We saw all the water was frozen. We just drove past the... Is it the cathedral or the Rathaus? It took us a year to make. We spent all of 2012 making it. It had been a long time since we made the first one, so it was nice to get back, and we tried to just push ourselves forward and make an album that had a lot of the first album in it, but was the next step. There's more guitars on it, there's more energy in it, there's a little bit more it's a little bit more wild in parts, and that was the album we wanted to make, I think. And
No, just ourselves mainly. I mean, we got a drummer in at one point because we wanted to introduce some more live instruments. But we can do everything by ourselves pretty much. So we sort of, for better or worse, decided to just do the two of us.
yeah, well, by the time we finished touring, we were so ready to write an album. We were really excited about it. So we were tired, but then we'd been speaking about making the album for so long that as soon as we had the time, we went, right, let's go. Because we toured the album for a very long time, the first one, because we got the chance to go around the world and things. And we were, by that point, we had so many ideas of what to do that we were desperate to start and get it done quick so we could get back out, yeah. Well, Exile. I mean, the first album's a lot about love, and there's parts of that on this one, and then there's different... We tried to explore different things on this one and cover different areas that we'd not covered before, so there's lots of songs that aren't about love and that are about just different sort of emotions.
I think this one's more of a journey than the first one. There's more sort of ups and downs. There's a lot more drama moments in this album. But then there's very clean pop songs on there, as well as some tracks that are really heavy, much heavier than anything on the first album. But that's what makes for an interesting album. It's sort of, we couldn't have made the same record as we did the first time because it was a long time ago. We felt different as people, quite crazy and chaotic sometimes being on the road, and as a result our music is sort of, has moments like that.
The problem is we always think that parties are going to end and there's not going to be any more parties, so we try and go to them all, which is sometimes a bit of a problem. But it's just, we went from being unemployed and having no sort of hope, everything coming at once, and for us it's just been like a wild ride, and we've enjoyed every second of it and made the best of it as well, which has been really fun. But it's meant that we've not really stopped.
Yeah, well, before that we were unemployed for 3 years, and no one really cared about our music, and then we wrote Wonderful Life, and then a few weeks later we were in Berlin, and one thing led to another, and then we got to take our music around the world to I think we did 50 countries in the end, which is incredible for a band from Manchester. You'd say it's changed dramatically, but still writing music for us is still the same principles, the same. We have the same ups and downs when we write music. It's quite a difficult process, but that's good though, because that reminds you of who you are, because you sometimes forget on tour and you think you're Superman. The Curry Mile is a 1 mile, and either side of the road are curry houses, Indian food places. And at the end of the Curry Mile, above a curry shop, was a flat that Theo and I shared for a year and made this album. And at night time, all of it lights up. It's got neon lights. It's a bit like what's that road in Hamburg?
It's like Brick Lane. It's a bit like the Reeperbahn.
Yeah, okay. But no, it's not.
But instead of sex shops, it's curry.
Okay.
It was nice to go write the album in Manchester, because that's a place where we know how to write music and we understand things. And so after running around for so long, it was nice to go to a place where we felt comfortable.
And I got it. And because we were on tour so much, I went 4 times. So that's the irony of it. But yeah, I follow German football as well a lot. I like Dortmund.
That's the type of music we like, and we like music that has that in it. And so I think when we learn to make music, we always are drawn toward that type of thing. So when you sit at a piano or a guitar, as soon as you start to play, something happens. So, and it just so happens that when we do it, it sounds a bit sad. But everyone's different, and we've tried to write. I think on this album we understood how to do different types of songs. Like a song like Miracle, for instance, isn't a sad song. It's got a lot more energy in it, and it's less sort of mournful, and that was something we learnt on this album.
Miracle's a big one, you know, because it was the first song we wrote for the album, and I think it's a real moment of intent, and it introduces the album well. But then there's moments on there, like there's a song called The Crow, which is very, you know, completely the opposite and very airy and very uncluttered and simple, and I like that song as well.
Yeah, the same, and I like a song called Help, which is the last song, initially because it was one of the songs we were most proud of writing, and it was one that in this process we felt made us feel very good. And then we got a choir on the end which was made up of fans from around Europe, and we did a competition and got them to England and spent a day with them in the studio, all these people, and we taught them the song and sang it with them, and so it's their voices you can hear. And then after that we managed to get Elton John to play the piano, and so we got in touch with him and asked him, and if the song wasn't, if we weren't proud enough of the song, now it's got these two incredible moments on it that really make it special. Yeah.
Well, I guess years ago we used to dress like this when we were unemployed in order to gain respect. We used to sort of go into the job centre, and by dressing smart they sort of respected us a little more than they would ordinarily. But also, clothes are a way of communicating, and it's just an extension of the music, really, just as videos are. I think the way we look sort of paints a picture of the two of us together, and you know, it's an important thing. It's a part and parcel of being in a pop band.
It makes you feel cool.
Yeah. I bought a guitar when I was 20, I think, and I didn't have any interest in making music, really. But for me personally, music's like painting. It's like the same sort of principles involved in other different mediums. I think it's sort of, I view it sort of like that. I think of music in colours, and we're not a band that really gets weighed down by how well can you play these chords, or we don't rely on that to make our music. It's more about the atmosphere and the textures. And
the fact that we sort of taught each other and learnt ourselves means that we've still got space to go. Like making this album, we learnt so much more, and we're still not as good as we'd like to be, and we've got a little bit better, and we just continue to do that, and that makes making music very exciting. When you don't know everything at once, it makes the future seem very enticing. I think you've got to remember that when you're in this job, and you've got to remember that you work hard, but there's always someone who's worked harder, and there's always somebody who has worked longer than you have, or who hasn't been lucky. So you've got to remember that the luck you've got that has helped along the way is something that should make you value what you do.